Hi, everybody. It is the Steiger-olson Report, part of the GNN Galactic News Network. And I'm here with Wayne Steiger. Hello, Wayne.
Hello, Steve.
And we are looking at a story from Business Insider UK about a new continent. This has been kind of rolling around, but I haven't had anybody explain it to me. What's going on?
Well, I find it interesting that this is actually in a business publication because, all right, let's just first of all realize that we don't know what we think we know. We don't know about this planet. We don't know about the oceans. And it's very evident that we don't have a freaking clue about continents. And because here is the point. There is a new continent, and I believe, Steve, it's what we potentially could see emerging. And if it continues to follow through, it will change the geopolitical and economic balance of the world.
Oh my God, not another one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if for people who don't trade in commodities and who don't deal every day in their 401ks, and number one, typically that are not out on the investor circuit, going to investor conferences, you really don't fully grasp how what may seem like your mundane job, how much it has a place in the entire global ecosystem.
It really, yeah, people don't appreciate that sometimes about their own, value.
True. Now, we all know of this whole area, the whole Indian Malaysia area. It's just active, brother. I mean, it's the most active in the world.
Right. But how does this mean new continent, Wayne?
Well, when we talk about a new continent, think about this from a geopolitical point. Who claims the right to it? Who has sovereignty to it? And think about this. What makes a nation outside of its military prowess is a nation's abundant natural resources. And you don't stop and think about, even let's say that there is a pole shift, and let's say the theory of sudden tectonic shift theory is correct. All of a sudden, you have new land. Who owns it? You don't think there's going to be some wars fought over that?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is that when you look at the increasing population of the world, and the continued diminished amount of natural resources, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal.
But still, it doesn't answer my question, though. What are they saying, that this is going to come up out of the ocean and become a new continent?
Yes.
Oh my God, Zealandia.
So, yeah,
this is based on all, and this is based on all of this tectonic movement that we're seeing. My God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They talk about how the land that pokes up relatively high. Listen, how many stories do you in fact, anyone go Google this, go there and Google islands that appear overnight. And you will see, particularly in this South Pacific region, all the way going up to the Ring of Fire, that there are more and more of these islands that literally poke up. So, as it appears, this is a continent that existed, and look at it, that if it went down, there's a good chance it'll be back up, because we know that this whole region here is extremely active. So get used to this.
This is just blowing my mind. And, it's funny because New Zealand has been an especially active, again, I remind everybody, it's been an especially active region, from an earthquake perspective over the last year. And it just makes me think, oh my God, I wonder if it's true.
Well, it's the whole thing that we continue to learn, Steve, about our planet. And, one of the things about sedimentary rock and the fossil record that you can look at, you can see events that have happened on this planet where there has been a sudden upheaval of the crust itself. And I tell, I actually back in 2002, I wrote on this that you could actually see that the theory about tectonic plates is that, let's just say in the event of we are seeing is a pole shift, right? And let's say that that could happen in the next 10 years, right?
Right.
So when you begin to think about how the Earth's crust works, people think it's this rigid plate, I guess, so to speak. The surface is the very top, and we know how malleable that can be with oceans putting pressure down on the crust itself, that if you had a magnetic pole shift, right, and the resulting of the tilt of the Earth, there would be, in theory, a corresponding effect on the tectonic plates themselves. And that where you have this mass movement now on the Indian plate moving up against the Eurasia plate, the Himalayas are raising how much each year? 3-4 centimeters?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's also an increasing rate, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that is correct. And, someone would say, well, a centimeter is so small, but you don't understand. To get a centimeter out of the Earth, that is enormous forces at work. So if this, in fact, happens, and it is, in fact, takes place, it's going to be interesting.
Unbelievable. It reminds me of the kind of I don't know what the deal is about Antarctica yet. I mean, even because I think that we're going to see that Antarctica is going to become more and more just like Commander Byrd said, it would become our last frontier.
Yeah. Well, there you go again. Just the scenario I painted. Let's say that the ice shelf and the ice cap in Antarctica does begin a rapid melt. Let's say over the next 10 or 20 years, right? And
let's say it becomes habitable.
Exactly. Because it showed at one time that it was.
Right. With structures and stuff.
I think that when we get, again, with the whole concept of linear time, we still don't know what planets really do. We have theories, we have observations, but those observations in the cosmic timeline are not even a blink of an eye.
Well, I mean, let's remind ourselves of how tiny we are here for a second. When did Kuiper finally confirm that there were other planets? It was not more than 10 years ago, was it?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, about that, right? I can't, somebody can correct me on this, but it was no more than 20. I know that for a fact. So only 20 years of our whole current epoch, we've even been able to confirm that there are planets outside of our solar system.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so damn smart, aren't we, Wayne?
And I just read as well, what's up with Neptune?
Hey, tell me, I don't know. What's going on?
Well, the thing about Neptune is that they're observing is that planet has suddenly become active again. And active, what I mean is that we're seeing the cloud formations on Neptune. There apparently is some disturbances taking place on that planet. And we know that planet has always been a weird one because it seems to get off its axis. And, we've had pictures that show that it's completely on the side of its axis, and then we have ones that show how it's tried to correct itself. So what's up with that?
I know.
So anyway, I thought that this would be a great story. I know there's been other channels that have covered it, but I looked at it from this whole thing about minerals and whoever would take possession. I find it interesting that the Russians are laying claim to the Arctic. Why?
Well, they've been planting. I know this is all related, guys. Think about this. It's like this is control of the very limited resources of Earth, and these are really, we haven't tapped even the beginning of it, guys. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but it's true. And this is a competition for those resources. Yeah, and
in an ever-increasing technological world, and the thing about technology is that it consumes a lot of our natural resources. and people don't stop and think. But if you go and you study commodities and commodity markets, there is a whole segment of that you can actually, look into. But my point is this: as those resources continue to diminish and increased demand continues to pile up, now you have a situation. So let's paint the scenario one last time. We now know that this continent existed. Very good chance that with everything coming on, it could, who knows, easily surface again. You don't tell me that there wouldn't be a battle over that. Are you kidding me?
Again, let's just hope that it's not one that includes the use of weapons.
Well, no, like mankind's never done that before.
I know, right? I know. Well, hey, thanks everybody for joining this version of the Steiger-Olson Report, part of the GNN Network. Wayne, any last words?
Well, it's exciting times we live in, and I don't know if these times have always been here, but boy, we are certainly much more aware of them. So be kind to one another.
Right on, man.